What would you do, or what would you say when you meet a man who used a machete to kill your own mother, to open the head of your brother to see how the brain of a master degree holder looks like? Welcome to AwesomeReader, where we review different books by different authors. This Sunday, we review Left to Tell by Immaculee Ilibagiza. To the facts of the book. Immaculee was born in Rwanda in a family of 4. She lived with her father and mother, and as far as she can remember, they were her pillar, and they were also helpful to the community. It's in America that she started on the path of writing. Left to Tell is her first book. She was awarded the Mahatma Gandhi International Award for Reconciliation and Peace in 2007. The book, Left to Tell, has 262 pages. The cover of the book, white, with a photo on the front page. Currently, the book retails at 1,750 shillings. Remember, you can get yourself a copy of Left to Tell at a discount from Textbook Center. Details on the description box below. To the highlights of the book. The author is clear that this is not meant to be a book about the genocide which happened in Rwanda in 1994. She believes there are several books that have written that in detail. She wants it to be her story, and a story like she remembers it. She often talks about Rwanda, such a beautiful country, christened the land of internal springs by the German settlers in early 1800s. She tells of an exciting story of how her father and mother met. They were going to a wedding. Her mother looked at father's hair, and she was like, "You can't go to a wedding like that." The father said she couldn't find a barber. Right there and then, mother got a scissor and shaved him. A year after that, they got married. Interesting. Her mother has always shaved his father. Immaculee was the only girl in a family of 3 other boys. She was the third born. Her name, Ilibagiza, means shining and beautiful in body and soul. Goes to a bit of history on how Belgians created an ethnic profiling between the Hutu and the Tutsis, and how the government of the late president Habyarimana inculcated the same. Talked about balance of opportunities between Hutu and the Tutsi, and at that time Hutu made about 85% of the population. She remembers about a coup in 1973 when she was very young, and the house was burned down for being Tutsi, something that her parents never talked about again. She understood the true meaning of ethnic balance when she got good grades and hoped to get a scholarship to a government high school. Unfortunately, she was missed out due to ethnic balance. Her dad had to sell precious cow to get her to a private school. However, eventually, after 2 years, she made it to a government school. War broke out on her third and final year in school, that is October 1990. During this period, while she was in school, her father was arrested, and an arrest ordered by a Hutu, a schoolmate of his. The late President Habyarimana's party organized a youth movement called the Interahamwe, those who attack together as the meaning. It attracted a lot of homeless kids and spread throughout the country. On 6th April 1994, the president was killed as he returned from Tanzania, where they had gone to sign off a peace treaty with the rebels. Same night, movements were restricted. "I will come and get you myself." Those were the final words Immaculee heard from his father as they went to hiding in a local pastor's house. The local pastor a Protestant and a Hutu, never liked her father, who was a staunch Catholic, but the times were desperate for her. The teacher who shamed her in grade 3 for being a Tutsi was in the house and could not even shake her hands. It did not take long before her brother located her and filled her with what was happening back home. The house had been burned down with the Interahamwe youth, and the parents escaped. And at that moment, they parted ways. The brother could not be offered protection by the pastor, and they had to leave. Saying goodbye to her brother was heartbreaking for her. Finally, into a small bathroom, and being joined with 5 other Tutsi women is where the pastor could hide them. She narrates that it wasn't the soldiers chanting or the militiamen outside. It was her neighbors, people she has gone to school with, that ate dinner at their table. She tells that she has never prayed like she did during the period where they were being searched out by the militia. Inside the bathroom, they allowed themselves a moment of stretching, and other than that, they stayed in the same position day and night. There were her previous killings in 1959 and in 1973, which her parents experienced. This would have made her parents think that whatever they were experiencing in 1994, in spite of his brother having a strong negative feeling, were almost similar and the same at this time. As the massacre of Tutsi continued, the RFP, a Tutsi rebel movement, was making its way to Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, which was being led by the current president, Kagame. As she was bundled in the bathroom, the killers for a second time came in search of the pastor's house. They were determined to kill all the Tutsi. She battled with prayer and forgiveness. Weeks later, and still in hiding, they were joined by 2 other Tutsi women who were being hidden by the pastor's daughter. They were told stories of the outside world, bodies piled up on the streets, and gruesome killings committed by the rebels. Before all this happened, Immaculee was dating John, a Hutu, and a relative to the pastor. They met at the bathroom after the pastor revealed them to John. The love that she thought she had for John died in the bathroom that night. On one of those visits John made to see her. During one of the raids in the bathroom, hiding, she heard familiar voice of neighbors and friends. The conversation, "I have killed 399 cockroaches." At this point, Tutsi was being referred like that. The neighbor continued boasting, "Immaculee will make 400. 400, it's a good number to kill." However, that did not happen. After 3 months of the genocide and 91 days of hiding in the bathroom, the French army came to Rwanda to shelter out the Tutsis that remained in the country. A moment of joy. At 2 a.m. at night, the pastor removed them from the bathroom and took them to where the French soldiers were. A rescue came for the ladies, and they were taken to a small camp by the French soldiers. She was told of how her parents were killed, her 2 brothers. However, one of the brothers was in Senegal when all the genocide was happening as she was doing her studies. The brother now lives in Rwanda. Her precious brother was killed, and she was told how she was killed. Her head cut with a machete because somebody wanted to see how the head, or rather the brain, of a master's degree holder looks like. Eventually, the rebels took over most of the town, and some calm returned. She got a job with the UN after several trial applications. Favor was upon her, and she went back home and dug out her brother and mother and shared them buried inside their house. Some neighbors came for that occasion to help. Another trip she made to her hometown, Kibuye, where she met with the man who killed her mother and the brother, a man that she knew very well. "I forgive you," she said, as they dragged the man back to prison. Immaculee is now living in the US, moving in various countries, preaching the message of hope, peace, and forgiveness. She is married and has 2 children. She has established the Left to Tell charitable fund, which helps and supports Rwanda orphans. To my opinion, the book is a book of courage, a book of finding God in the midst of challenging situations. To get to one point where one achieves forgiveness for atrocity committed down for the families and for people close to her, it is something that you must pick the book to read. The book reminds me of Anne Frank, the diary of a young girl who was in hiding for almost 2 years. Please check out the review of the book, which we did. She did not come out alive, that is Anne Frank, but glad Immaculee and the woman hidden in the bathroom came out of it alive after 91 days. The book takes a huge religious journey and a deep faith rooted in the Catholic faith. Have you read Left to Tell by Immaculee Ilibagiza? If you have, please share your thoughts on the comment section below. This has been AwesomeReader. Subscribe and share. Remember to get the details on how to get the book at a discount from Textbook Center on the description box below. Till next Sunday, let's keep reading.